After Kevin got back from Professor Murdoch's office, he sat down in his seat and started to check his phone. Before he could even pull it out, Penny turned around and put a note on his desk. The students who saw this started whispering to each other, wondering what was going on. Kevin didn't care what they thought. He could see the note that said, "Sorry, I was wrong about you." This made Kevin feel a little awkward. If he replied, "That's okay," it would seem that he didn't think that much of himself, but if he said too much, she might think he was full of himself. This isn't going to be easy, Kevin scratched his head and thought to himself. While he was trying to figure out what to say to Penny, his phone started buzzing like crazy in his lap. Kevin took a look and saw that he had a ridiculous number of messages from Gwen Archer. There were texts saying things like, "Why are you asking me about this?" and "Are you angry?" "Please don't be mad at me," one of the messages said. "I promise I won't let my brother fight Dalton again." Kevin was confused about what to do. He just asked Gwen about Dalton in yesterday's class when Professor Murdoch took his phone away, but he never expected Gwen to send him dozens of texts in just one day. After thinking for a while, Kevin replied to her briefly, "If you really want me to teach you to be an apothecary, don't let anyone bother Dalton Steele again. Otherwise, you won't be able to get another power pill from me ever again." Meanwhile, Penny was starting to get very anxious. She'd only written one simple sentence. Why was Kevin taking so long to respond? Finally, Penny couldn't stand the suspense and she turned around to look at Kevin. She was shocked to see that he was playing with his phone with his head down. He hadn't even touched her note. Why was he ignoring her, she wondered. Penny wasn't used to anyone giving her the brush off. The more she thought about it, the angrier she got. How could he do this to her when she just offered him an olive branch? But Kevin wasn't aware any of this was going on. He was in the middle of a heated argument with Gwen Archer. "Your brother took the power pill I gave him and then used his force against my best friend. And now you still want me to be your teacher? Is that all you think of me?" Kevin replied angrily. "I didn't have anything to do with it. When Dalton came to our mansion, I hardly said a thing to him. So don't blame me," she explained. Then Gwen begged him anxiously, "Please let me be your student. I'll consider Dalton to be part of my family and ask my brother to get along with the Steele family. We'll even come to an agreement on our conflict with the bar Dalton opened." Kevin grunted and simply replied, "I'll believe it when I see it." Then Kevin put away his phone. Penny's note had been blown onto the floor by a light breeze. While this was going on, Randall Williams was in his New York mansion having coffee with Seth Roundtree. After he'd gotten the call from Randall the evening before, Roundtree had rushed to New York as soon as he could. He'd managed to get there by this morning. "Mr. Williams, by joining the Myriads, you've made a wise decision for your family," Roundtree stated plainly as he put his coffee cup down on the table. "I'll take you tonight to meet with the senior members. That way we'll all be clear about what we can expect from each other in this relationship." "I'd like to talk to you about the herbal meds for my family," Randall asked him reluctantly. As long as his family was joining the Myriads, he wanted them to start making progress as soon as possible. "Don't worry, I have plenty of pills for you. Tonight I'll ask my people to let you have some of the construction pills," Roundtree reassured him. Then he pulled a training manual out of his briefcase and said, "Take this as my gift to your family to commemorate your acceptance into the Myriads." Randall had an unsure look on his face as he took the book. When he saw the title, he got very excited. It was Instruction Manual for Myriads Members, Physical and Cognitive Training. That's right. This is the manual that our organization has developed over the years to give all of our members a physical and mental edge over our competition, Roundtree explained proudly. "I'd only heard rumors about this," Randall exclaimed. "I can't believe I'm holding it in my hands." He was beyond excited. If his family mastered this training, they wouldn't have to answer to anyone. "There's a lot of valuable information in there. Some of it we developed on our own. Other things have been picked up by infiltrating various groups. Roundtree practically whispered, as though he were afraid of someone hearing him admit it. "This is a truly generous gift," Randall said gratefully. "Look how happy you are. But don't worry. I can guarantee you that this is only the beginning. Once you join us, as long as you sincerely contribute to the organization, there will be more good things in store for you than you can ever imagine." Roundtree boasted as he leaned back in his chair. Then he said more soberly, "But there are other groups that are unwilling to share. Does that sound right to you?" "What you're saying makes sense," Randall replied distractedly. But at the moment he couldn't take his eyes off the manual that Roundtree had given him. "Okay, I still have some business to attend to. Make sure that your family gets started right away. The construction pills will be delivered by 10 o'clock tonight at the latest," Roundtree assured him. Then he said, "I have to get going." Roundtree closed up his briefcase and headed out the door, leaving Randall to flip enthusiastically through the book. At the School for the Healing Arts, they included a physical education class in the curriculum. It looked a lot like what you might find at any ordinary college. The big difference was that their instructors in basic martial arts techniques had highly specialized training, and the class itself was grueling. In a 2-hour class, they only rested for a few minutes at a time. Kevin was assigned to Group 24, which was training close to Phoebe Anderson and Sherwin Blair, who were in Group 25. Kevin had already moved way beyond the basic moves that were being demonstrated in the class, so he found a shady spot and lay down on the ground where he could watch the rest of the students practice. Suddenly, Lily walked up to him holding 2 bottles of water. She smiled and offered one to Kevin. "Sweetie, do you want some water?" Kevin nodded and returned her smile. He popped Lily's bottle open and handed it back to her. Lily sat down right next to Kevin and put her head on his shoulder. A few of the men in the class who were interested in Lily were very jealous of Kevin when they saw this. "Hey, isn't that Lily? Who's that guy she's sitting with?" one of them asked. "You don't know who that is? I thought everyone had heard of him. He's Lily's husband," another student explained to him. "Didn't you say their marriage was on the rocks? They definitely aren't acting like it," he replied. Kevin could hear their discussions and he started to smile. He'd also felt that Lily had become more and more affectionate lately. Just then, another beautiful woman walked over to Kevin. Phoebe Anderson handed Kevin a bottle of water and gave him a pleasant smile. "You must be thirsty, Kevin," she remarked as she looked him in the eyes and completely ignored Lily. "I'm very flattered, Miss Anderson," Kevin teased her. "Don't forget that I still owe you a meal. When are you free?" she asked him. She clearly remembered that their dinner had been interrupted by Officer Emmett. Phoebe still hadn't properly thanked him for the Dream Lover necklace. Whenever Phoebe had nothing to do, she would start thinking about Kevin. That's why she'd brought along an antique Italian hairpin with her, so she'd have an excuse to spend some time with him. "I've got tons of free time. Just say when," Kevin answered playfully. "We can figure that out later. But first, I wonder if you can take a look at this Italian hairpin," Phoebe asked as she handed it to Kevin. She could feel Lily's eyes on her, but Phoebe was smart. She knew that she needed a good excuse to spend some time with Kevin, and her plan seemed to work. When Lily saw that Phoebe had an actual business-related question for Kevin, she stopped giving her the evil eye, but she still kept a watchful eye on the two of them. "That's a very nice piece," Kevin said as he turned the hairpin over in his hand. "It's genuine onyx and gold. The cameo looks like a member of the Italian royal family. My conservative estimate is $90,000. Their conversation started to draw some stares from the other students who were taking their break. Why was this loser so popular? If Lily and Kevin had such a great thing going, what was Phoebe Anderson trying to do? They just couldn't figure it out. Then one of the rich kids walked over and said very loudly, "You'd better not get involved with Kevin. Did you know he stole Penny Sutherland's phone at the Whistler Hotel last night? He was exposed in front of the entire class. I wouldn't let him near any of your expensive antiques." "You must be joking," Phoebe laughed. Then she added very seriously, "He is our antique shop's chief appraiser." The man's jaw dropped when she said that. He turned around and walked away without saying another word. The cameo has incredible detail, but I think that the pin itself was probably repaired in the late 1700s, Kevin added thoughtfully. Wow, you really know your stuff. Even my father didn't know that much about it, but you could tell all that with just a glance? Phoebe gushed. Her eyes were almost shining with admiration. I never knew my husband was so skilled, Lily commented. She emphasized the word husband to send a message to Phoebe. Phoebe felt some disappointment when she heard Lily say that. I wish I'd met Kevin first, Phoebe thought to herself. Kevin sensed the tension. Just as he was about to say something to change the subject, he heard a firm voice telling him to have some more water. It sounded more like a command than a friendly request. The three of them turned around at the same time to see who it was. Kevin gulped nervously when he saw Penny standing there looking down at him. The students who had been watching Kevin so enviously for the past few minutes couldn't take it anymore. What the hell is this? Now Penny's giving Kevin water too? One of them commented. What's he got that I don't? Another one said. They had no idea what these three women saw in the guy. It was bad enough that Lily and Phoebe were fawning over Kevin, but now Penny was joining in. What's this about, Penny? Kevin asked her inquisitively. He couldn't figure out what she wanted from him. I just wanted to say that I was wrong about you, Kevin. Take this bottle of water as a peace offering, Penny said coolly. No one knew just how conflicted Penny was feeling as she did this. She was from a very important family and was usually very reserved. It was a big deal for her to offer something to a man that lots of people in the school thought was such a loser. But she also knew that what had happened that morning had been her fault. She'd treated Kevin like a thief and almost had him thrown out of the school when he'd only been trying to help her. On top of that, when Penny passed that note to Kevin and he didn't reply, she couldn't think of any other way to make it up to him. Don't worry about it, Penny. It was a simple misunderstanding, Kevin said graciously. He could feel all the eyes on him, and it didn't feel too good. I always try to deal with people fairly, she explained. How about if I treat you to dinner sometime? The more nonchalant Kevin acted, the more Penny felt sorry for him. She didn't say it very loud, but everyone heard her invitation very clearly. The guys who had a crush on Penny just couldn't stand it. What the heck did she see in him? Kevin was starting to make a lot of enemies in his class without even trying. Lily and Phoebe were also a little wary of her. Was Penny an old friend of Kevin's? Why was she inviting him to dinner? Phoebe was starting to feel very uneasy. She was already in competition with Lily, and now there was someone new she had to deal with. But Lily was getting even more nervous. She knew exactly who Penny was. She was from the most important family in the city, and she was also very attractive. Lily was afraid that Penny might try to steal Kevin from her. Right then, Lily promised herself not to let anyone take her husband away from her, and it was up to her to do something about it.
Hi, Kevin here. If you're wondering what happens next, then stay tuned on the Pocket FM Universe channel for more episodes.